Enjoy this conversation with me, Maureen Kimani, every Friday from 9 a.m. on our Health Corner show here at Capuchin TV. Your health is your wealth.
A very good morning and welcome to our Health Corner show right here on Capuchin TV with me, Maureen Kimani, for another episode. And this program is brought to you by Capuchin TV in partnership with St. Mary's Mission Hospital, where we have conversation concerning your health matters. And today we have a very interesting conversation that concerns our aunts, our mothers, and part of our families at our homes and in society. We're talking about a World Breastfeeding Week that is observed on 1st of August to 7th of August. That is every first week of the month of August. And we shall be delving on why is it important to have this conversation, that is World Breastfeeding Week. Why is breastfeeding very crucial to both the mothers and children, that is babies? And joining me for this conversation, we have a guest from St. Mary's Mission Hospital, and she will be telling us more and perhaps what she does at the hospital. And of course, in case you'd love to be part of this conversation, you can definitely reach out to us on 0717 424 866. Or you can use the SMS number that is 21760 by sending your reaction and how you have felt. Of course, if you are a first-time mother, how is the experience? And we say congratulations to you. And perhaps in case you have like 2-3 babies, how was it when you first breastfed your first baby, and how was the difference by the time you got your second babies? I'd love to hear your thoughts and your relationship with your babies. So please do not hesitate to reach out to us. So welcome to this conversation. A very good morning to you.
Good morning to you, Maureen.
Good to have you here. Actually been the second time we are having you on our Health Corner show.
You're right.
Yeah. So kindly, for the first time, perhaps we have a viewer who is watching you. Kindly introduce yourself and tell us more about St. Mary's Mission Hospital.
Thank you for having me this morning and during this World Breastfeeding Week. My name is Dorcas Obure Anyango. I'm the head nutritionist at St. Mary's Mission Hospital, Langata. At St. Mary's, we nurture mothers, upcoming mothers. When we get our babies, we nurture them all through until when we are sure that you're safe to handle yourself. So this week, we are celebrating both mothers and even our fathers, and even promoting the policies that will govern these mothers to breastfeed, so that we have a healthy nation and we have a place where we call healthy people. Yeah.
All right. Welcome once again, and thank you for making time to have this conversation with us.
Thank you.
All right. To begin with, just the discussion, as we mentioned, our topic today is World Breastfeeding Week. Why is it so important to have this conversation? And you can see most of the times you find some of the days are just observed in a day, but now we're talking of a week, a whole week to just have this conversation about World Breastfeeding Week. What does it mean to you and locally and globally for this conversation?
World Breastfeeding Week was started way back in 1992. I think by then you and me
yeah, we were not yet
we were not even sure that we'd be having this conversation at this point. So the main reason of having this week was to prioritize breastfeeding and also promote policies on supportive breastfeeding, both for the institutions and even for the mothers who are breastfeeding. And the importance of this week is to emphasize on the need of having our babies breastfeed. And breastfeeding is not that the act of breastfeeding. We look at breastfeeding being initiated the first 1 hour within the first 30 minutes after birth. Then we look at breastfeeding until 6 months, that is exclusive breastfeeding, whereby you are not giving your baby anything apart from the breast milk. Then we look at breastfeeding from 6 months to 2 years. This is where we are doing feeding from 6 months until 2 years. When you do all this, we are giving our baby the optimized nutrition that they need. And it also comes with other benefits like good health. And later, it's not only within the infancy time, and later in life, we are also preventing this child from getting so many other diseases. So it is very important for us to sit down and emphasize this 1 week so that we have a healthy nation.
Wow, very nice. And just to delve on this year's theme, that is prioritize breastfeeding, create sustainable support system. What does this theme personally mean to you?
From where I'm sitting as a health worker, and I've been there for a while, if you look carefully at the trend of the mothers who are breastfeeding their babies exclusively, it's a journey. And this journey starts way back from conception. That is where we talk about the first 1,000 days or the first 2,000 days. Breastfeeding should be in the mind of the mother just from the day that they conceive this pregnancy. Because you see, the first 9 months, yes, the baby is growing inside my womb, but again, I have to come up with a plan on how I'm going to sustain this baby once the baby is out. So it should be a priority whereby, yes, if it is a working mother, they are able to get their maternity leave for 3-4 months, depending on the institution. Then when this mother comes back to the institution or the workplace, are they in a position to continue breastfeeding until 6 months? And if this mother is a stay-home mom, are the people who are surrounding this mom in a position to give her the total support that she needs to sustain the breastfeeding? And is it possible for the people who are surrounding the mother to give the support until 2 years? So it is a priority because, again, if you don't do it, there are some consequences that come with it. And if you look at the statistics, we are not doing very well. We've not achieved globally or locally where we are supposed to be. So we really still need to emphasize that it is important and people need to consider it. It is even cheaper compared to the other things that we do. And again, if you look at the consequences later in life, it still remains to be the cheaper option. Yes, it should be a priority, and it is also wise for us to set supportive systems in our houses and even at our workplaces, like setting a lactation room. It is very unfortunate that up to now, the institutions where there are no lactation rooms, mothers are hiding themselves to express the milk. Once they've expressed the milk, they don't know where to put it. They're not sure if at the end of the day the milk will be okay or it will have spoiled. So we still have a long way to go, but we're still emphasizing that we need to prioritize and create supportive system for the mothers. Yes.
And we'll discuss more about mental health because once like you're not settled, even if you're at your workplace, as long as breastfeeding is concerned, you will definitely not be able to produce what you're supposed to do at your workplaces. But what are some of the challenges that mothers face when it comes to breastfeeding? And of course, you can perhaps shed more light on what first-time mothers should know as far as our conversation is concerned.
I think that is a very crucial question. For first mothers, even for mothers who are second-timers or third-timers, this thing needs to be emphasized from pregnancy. For example, in our facility at St. Mary's, we initiate this thing as early as from the 2nd trimester. We are able to start mentoring the mothers on how we are supposed to feed, on how we are supposed to breastfeed, and for how long we are going to breastfeed our babies. So if the emphasis is done early, the stress also reduces. The challenges come in when the ladies are carrying the babies and then they give birth and you tell them breastfeed. So some of them do not even know how to breastfeed, and that is where the depression and anxiety comes in. If they are shown these things early, they are able to capture it properly when they get the baby. Another stress that comes in with breastfeeding is issues like even engorged breast. It may look or sound easy, but for some mothers it is not as easy as it is. Then you find that at times these babies are born and some of them are just crying. The mother is confused, especially if it's a first-time mother. They don't know what to do with this baby anymore. At times they even feel like leaving the baby there and they go somewhere and just to get away from the noise. So the challenges are many, from depression to anxiety to support from the people that you expect to support you at that point. And at times I feel like the health workers, we should also try and put more effort to it so that these mothers do not feel the full weight. We can make it less a burden by giving them the proper information And after delivery, let them get good support from the surrounding. But most of the time it is depression, anxiety, and at times beliefs.
Okay. And I remember when we were beginning with the conversation, you mentioned and strongly encouraged that mothers should breastfeed their kids at least for 6 months. That is what is encouraged about. What happens perhaps mother doesn't have like a breast milk, because you've ever had scenarios where mothers during their first time birth they had milk, but now when giving birth to the second child they no longer have breast milk. What happens, or what could be the issue?
I'll still go back to my sentiments that I made earlier. At St. Mary's, when you come for your maternity clinics, during the 3rd trimester, you're given an opportunity to sit down with a nutritionist. At this point, you're advised on the feeds that you're supposed to take before you even get this baby. And at this point, if you've had a history, there are mothers who have history of not having enough milk, and it is consistency. So for mothers like those ones, you can ask them to get the lactation boosters. These are boosters that mothers take in terms of food or supplement that can help them produce more milk. Alternatively, if a mother is not in a position to get the boosters, then we are also advised on feeds that can make the milk production to be quality and to be quantity. So as we prepare this mother, the problem is you start telling them to eat these things once the baby is out. But when you prepare them during the 3rd trimester, it is easier for this mother to pick the pieces and face the day when it comes. Another thing that can make that milk not to come is stress. So make sure the mother is in an environment that can make her comfortable and happy for her to have this baby feed properly. Another thing would be pain and distress. And all these things are things that mothers expect to have after delivery. So if it is in a hospital setup, then it is our role as health workers to make sure that this mother is having less pain for her to concentrate with the baby. So it is an all-round thing, from the mother to the health workers and to the support system. But most of the time when this milk is not there, when they get warm fluids and they are comfortable and they are happy with less pain, by the 2nd day we'll have the milk. The risk would be if it takes longer, then the baby is affected. Remember, we are advocating for at least 30 minutes breastfeeding immediately after delivery. So whether the milk is there or not, it is our role as health workers to make sure that this baby is getting on that breast within 30 minutes after delivery, so that the baby also activates the glands to start producing the milk. So it is a process. There are these mothers who give birth and the milk is already there and they're happy. And there are these mothers who give birth and the milk is not there. They struggle kidogo. But one thing for sure is at some point we always have milk. It just needs the mother to have peace of mind, no stress. We give proper support as health workers, and even when she goes home, then from there the milk will flow.
And do you have like specific times you're supposed to breastfeed your child during a day?
Baby should be breastfed on demand.
Okay.
But for a baby who is born maybe today, and maybe it's a first-time mom, and maybe it's not even a first-time mom, babies are different and experiences are different. Baby should be fed not in less than 3 hours. If it's a baby and the mother does not have enough milk, don't leave the baby to sleep for so long, because again the sugar levels will go down. So try to breastfeed your babies. After every 2 hours we are breastfeeding. But now when the milk is there and mom is comfortable, this milk is enough for my baby, then let us breastfeed on demand. Yes.
Okay, all right. And just to take you back, you mentioned that locally and globally we are not doing well as far as breastfeeding is concerned. Do you think we're not having this conversation a lot by creating awareness or even advising the mothers?
I think from where, as of where we are in Kenya, we've really tried. We've really tried. Because if you look at the statistics properly, when this thing started in 1992, then we were at around 2%. But now our numbers have really gone up. The challenge comes in the urban setup. whereby most of these mothers are going back to work, and at times the expressing bit of it is not very effective for some of them, so they will end up giving baby formulas. In our local setups, mothers are going maybe for this casual work. They will leave the baby with porridge or milk. So I think as time goes by, maybe a policy can be promoted whereby maybe these mothers who are breastfeeding are allowed to stay home maybe for 6 months if it's possible. If it's not possible, then let's have a scenario whereby they have lactation rooms and they have proper storage facilities whereby this expressed milk can be kept there for our mothers to be sure that they'll breastfeed for 6 months. Yes.
And what happens because you find some of the institutions, they don't have the lactating rooms for mothers, and now a mother has to stay the whole day with the milk. Perhaps it even burns you and you're actually uncomfortable, especially even when you get a phone call from home, your baby is crying, and here you have milk, you don't even have a place to store. Do you feel the institution should definitely have a way to find out on how they should support mothers, because you know they are our sisters, they are our cousins. As far as breastfeeding is concerned, they make sure at least you have even at least a fridge. Because I remember watching a conversation where one of the mother was talking about sometimes you don't even feel comfortable when you even go to the washroom. There's some of the things you cannot do in some places because hygiene is very important and very crucial as far as breastfeeding is concerned.
Yes.
What do you feel the country and the institution should do? Because I've heard some of the churches, even Catholics, especially one of the churches here at St. Mary's Ngatarungai, I heard the priest has a place where mothers can even go, and do your work by taking care of your child. So what do you feel the country and the society and institution should do as far as breastfeeding is concerned?
I would urge the government to make it like a priority. Every institution should have a lactation room, because in every institution there are ladies, and most of the time you find that they're in the childbearing age. So the lactation room, like in our institution, St. Mary's, we have one, and it's big enough, it can accommodate several mothers, and we have a refrigerator. It is not much to ask for. And at the end of the day, when this mother is comfortable, she's sure she's expressed her milk, she's stored it somewhere, she's able to come back and work properly at her workplace. It is very unfortunate that at this era and time, there are institutions whereby mothers are maybe expressing the milk in the restroom. And I was reading an article somewhere where someone was commenting that they used to express their milk and put it in the car, and they were not even sure if by evening the milk will be okay. It is a journey that really needs to be emphasized, and institutions actually must just have the lactation rooms. It is not an option, because we are looking at the government and also the families. The moment the government emphasizes on the lactation rooms, then these babies are able to get breast milk for 6 months exclusively, right? Now, when they get the milk exclusively for 6 months, we are trying to at least make the government spend less money when it comes to the under 5 infection control. And the moment this boss gives a lactation room to a breastfeeding mother, then they are also controlling the days that this mother will stay at home with a sick baby. So it is a all-round thing that if they sit together and come up with a solution, then it is a win-win situation for both. Yes.
All right.
So it is a must.
A must. Okay, we hope those institutions that don't have lactating rooms for mothers can at least be able to take an initiative and to ensure that they have one for the mothers, and even at least a fridge or even a cooler to help you by the time you're getting out of the office in the evening. You can be able to carry your milk, fresh, and make your baby happy and yourself happy.
Imagine it's something very simple. You just need like a couch, a table, and a fridge. Yes, there are those places that you need to be very comfortable, provided there's a privacy and you can sit comfortably and breastfeed, and there's a sink to wash your hands, and there's somewhere comfortable you can sit with a table, and you have a fridge, and definitely you'll have labels for the name of the mother or the child so that you do not have confusion. It is something doable. It is something doable.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Let's talk about mental health, because I understand mental health even right now in a country is a very big deal.
Very true.
Perhaps how should the families, the husband, and of course perhaps the co-workers or the colleagues support mothers as far as mental health is concerned? Especially, you mentioned mothers have a lot of anxiety that comes in, you know, whether you're a first-time mom or a second-time mother. How do you feel that we should address mental health issues as far as breastfeeding is concerned?
Mental health is key. If you give a mother 20 liters of porridge and you're not giving her peace, you're wasting your time. Mental health is key. Key at workplace, key at home. So for workplace, maybe when they come back from work, they can get lighter duties and just try to give them peace. At home, let's try to help this mother. If the mother is exhausted, and she doesn't need to be exhausted, support. After she's done her breastfeeding, is it possible you hold the baby for her for some few minutes so that she gets some rest? Get her enough food. And when you talk of food and quality and good food, we're not talking about chicken and those expensive stuffs. Whatever is available, let our mother get proper food. Mental issues do not only come from talking, it can also be emotional. It can also be in terms of not getting enough rest. The baby cries the whole night and there's someone who can hold the baby but they are not able to support. It can also come from the fact that the mother is not able to get enough food. So this lady is not settled and you cannot give what you don't have. So the only way out is to make sure that these mothers are in a comfortable situation whereby if it is at a workplace, let us not overload them. Let us not get rough with them. You don't know how she spent her previous night. So we are not telling them to be lazy at the same time, but we are just trying to tell them that it should be a win-win situation whereby the mother is happy and the employer is also happy. At home, the family should really take care of the mother. Because remember, there is also postpartum psychosis, and this comes after the mother has delivered. And at times, the signs, the mother herself cannot even see that I'm getting into depression. So it is us who are surrounding the mother to see the telltale signs that this lady is not okay anymore. And at times, it's not the big things. Even the baby crying for 2-3 hours can make a mother lose it. So let us give total support. Yes.
Okay. And you've ever had a scenario where a mother just went to workplace and perhaps like you find they have a lot of milk, it just spills all over your clothes, and now you have your colleague telling you, oh, you know, sometimes, you know, there's a shame that comes in with that, and that's why I think just to key in the point that you mentioned, that it's very important for institutions to have these lactating rooms. As far as I understand, we have like the breast pads that you can be able to put, but how many times are you gonna change in a day?
I think from a personal point of view, at times they don't help. And especially if you're having enough milk, enough for the baby and enough for storage. For mothers who are having more than enough milk, and it is a blessing to them, having a dress that is stained with baby's milk wouldn't be a problem to me, and like having no milk for my baby. And these are part of the beliefs and the things that people are doing that are making breastfeeding very difficult for our mothers. For instance, there are people who believe that if I breastfeed in public, then my milk will be contaminated. Like when people look at me, then my milk is not good. There are people who also believe that once I step out of the house and I'm not breastfeeding my baby, then when I come back, I should not breastfeed, because I've met so many people and some of them are not good people. And also this notion of a mother having milk stained on her cloth and you look at her as if she's done something very wrong. No. let us give support. Having stains on my clothes or having too much milk or breastfeeding in public, it is not a taboo. Those are the things that are depicting a lot of stress on the mothers, and they're giving them a hard time. If a mother, see, when you're breastfeeding, you know yourself. It is not something that comes as a surprise. I've been home for 3 months now, I'm going back to work. I know how my letdown is. So if I know that at some point it comes off the breast pad, then I should carry an extra top or an extra dress just in case it spills over. So it is something that even you on your own as a mother, you should protect yourself from these other things that can make you stressed up. If you know it will spill over, then come with an extra top, an extra dress that you can change. And don't ever feel embarrassed that your dress is spilled, or maybe your baby is really crying and you need to breastfeed in public. Do it. Because at the end of the day, we are looking at the results.
All right.
Yeah.
And being a head of nutritionist at St. Mary's Mission Hospital, how does nutrition play a big role as far as breastfeeding is concerned, both to the mother and to the baby?
A baby who is breastfed the first 6 months of life exclusively, it really promotes the health of the baby and the optimal nutrition of this baby. Because at the end of the day, this baby is getting everything that they need in terms of nutrition from the mother directly. This baby is also prevented from later in life from getting issues like type 2 diabetes, from getting issues like pneumonia, like diarrhea, because of the immunity that the baby will get from the mom's breast milk. For the mother, it helps the mother, it really protects the mother from getting excess bleeding. That is called hemorrhage. And this excess bleeding at times can cause even death. So when you do exclusive breastfeeding, you're in a position whereby it will lessen the chances of having that. And as a lady, it also reduces the chances of you getting breast cancer and ovarian cancer. For ladies who add a lot of weight when they are pregnant and during breastfeeding, they are also in a position to shed a little baby fat when they do exclusive. If it's not exclusive, then you'll work with the weight later. But if you do exclusive breastfeeding, then you're able to shed some baby fat. So it comes with the whole benefit of even intellectual. A baby who breastfeeds for 6 months and continues until 2 years, you're sure of the brain development, because brain development is the first 2 years of life. So you give proper nutrition the first 6 months, then when the baby starts feeding, you continue breastfeeding until 2 years, you are sure that you've really given your baby the best in terms of intellectual. It also protects the babies from issues that will come later in life, like chronic diseases. So obesity is part of it also. Issues of the kidneys are part of it also. So as much as you'll not have done 100% protection, but at least you're sure you've given the prevention measures.
And what is your, perhaps your interaction at St. Mary's Mission Hospital with mothers? What do you feel are some of the do's and the don'ts, and some of the things mothers have been able to do that costed them as far as breastfeeding and our topic and breastfeeding weaker is, concerned?
At our facilities, we are doing well, though we still have challenges, maybe with one or two. Like there are those who don't feel very comfortable breastfeeding. And when you try to explain to them what it really entails and what are the benefits of you giving your baby the 6 months breastfeeding, then they are not able to get it well, because some of them feel like when they do breastfeeding for 6 months, then their breasts will sag. Some of them have this belief that I have a baby boy, by 4 months the baby will start feeling so hungry, I have to introduce another food. Some of them feel like they cannot breastfeed for 6 months exclusively because at some point the milk reduces for one reason or the other. So it is still a challenge. We are getting mothers, new and both second-timers, third-timers, who are having challenges here and there. But one thing that I would advise our viewers and even the mothers and even the upcoming mothers, the doors are always open in the facilities and more so at St. Mary's Mission Hospital. You can always come. We have a seat with the nutritionist, with the pediatrician, with the gyna. so that you have a proper plan. By the time you're getting this baby, you are well versed with what you're supposed to go and do. Yes.
Okay.
But challenges will never end. It's very rare for you to get a mother who has just had a smooth pregnancy and smooth breastfeeding. There are always one or two challenges here, but I'm sure solutions are always there also.
Okay, and we have one question from our viewers who says, like, my cousin had a baby, but this baby stopped, taking milk, that is breastfeeding by 5 months. And I remember we mentioned that breastfeeding is strongly encouraged up to 6 months.
Yes.
What happens, and what could be the issue that this baby no longer wants this mother's milk?
A baby can react depending, number one, with what you've eaten. If you are not used to eating food with a lot of spices and strong smells, then all of a sudden you eat it. Observe your baby. That day they might not be very comfortable breastfeeding because, again, the food you eat alters the taste and the smell of the milk. A baby might also refuse to breastfeed because maybe in your absence, this baby is being fed with feeding bottle. The nipple is a little bit softer compared with the nipple for the mom. So when they keep breastfeeding that using the baby feeding bottle, they get comfortable with it. And now getting milk from mom's breast becomes a little hectic for them because they have to pull and pull and pull. So at times that is also one of the reasons why our babies refuse to breastfeed. And some of them also react. They're humans. You leave them there for a whole day and they are not happy with you. And they will show that emotionally by refusing to breastfeed. It is part of their psychology. So when they refuse day one, don't just give up and say they've refused. If they refuse breastfeeding, can you try and pump the milk and give them with a cup and a spoon, not a baby feeding bottle, because it will confuse them more. Try to give them with a cup and a spoon and see if the baby will respond well. Then if you had by any chance food that is very strong in odor and in taste, then try to take lots of water to clear it and go back to your normal feeding schedule and plan so that we see if the milk will go back to the rescheduled pattern that it had before for our baby to breastfeed. But by any chances, if you've tried all those options and it is not working, do not rush into introducing your baby in any other feeds because they are not yet 6 months old. So what you can do, you can come to a health institution so that you have a seat with a nutritionist and you agree on a better way forward. Yes.
Okay, and to share a story with you, there was a time I remember my mom said my brother used to love actually taking breast milk. And there's a time that mom reached and she could feel, oh, you've taken lots of milk for the longest time. And now they start, applying some chili just to help the baby not to breastfeed anymore. Can it have any effect, or how long can you just let your baby breastfeed as long as they're comfortable?
As I mentioned before, we are doing the exclusive breastfeeding until 6 months. Okay. Then at 6 months, we're introducing the complementary feeds. And at that point, we are still advising the mothers to continue breastfeeding until 2 years.
2 years.
Remember, between 6 months and 1 year, we are not advisable to give any other milk. So it is only proper that you give you give baby food and you also add by giving breast milk. If you introduce any other milk at this point from 6 months to 1 year, then you're subjecting your baby to issues of blood going down and even the calcium levels going low. So I'd rather you breastfeed as you give the other feeds. It's even cheaper than starting to introduce any other things that will bring allergies, we might bring issues with anemia, might bring issues with rickets. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And let's talk about social media and media in general. And nowadays you can find a lot of information just scrolling through your phone. And sometimes when mothers, they feel the baby is not even feeling well, sometimes, for example, like the case that we were able to talk about where a baby is told, they no longer want to breastfeed by 5 months and you're supposed to breastfeed the baby by up to 6 months at least. And sometimes you just find mothers, finding this information on the internet.
Yeah.
What are some of the I don't know, effect can this information have instead of you just, looking online on the information, just visit especially at St. Mary's Mission Hospital, because you mentioned that you really value the mothers and of course the pregnant mother from all the journey that you walk through them. What advice do you have for such mothers, especially that we now have AI?
Yeah, true. I think where we are now, I would say it's been controlled. The Breastfeeding Act has barred so many, do I call them organization or what, from advertising the alternatives for breastfeeding. So, and you see, at the same time, they are not allowed to reach to the mothers one-on-one. So it means that the information, actually they're not giving any information completely. It's been bad. So the information that you can get there would be maybe an individual person talking about something that is almost next to the alternative of breastfeeding, which is also still illegal. And you cannot miss 1 or 2 pages like those ones in the internet. But I would advise our viewers and our mothers, kindly, if that milk is not enough for your baby, come to a health institution whereby you'll be advised accordingly on what to do. At times it's not even a big thing. They just need to come, you open their mind on 1 or 2 issues that they can do so that this milk comes back. And within 2 days or 3 days, the mother calls back and tells you it's working. So don't rush into giving anything. Yes.
Okay.
It is not like previously when you could even see advertisements about alternatives of breastfeedings. It's been bad completely. So the government is doing a good job. Kenya is working towards the Global Health Act that really emphasizes on breastfeeding. So I know for the first 6 months we are sorted, but still the internet cannot miss 1 or 2 things to talk about. So for you, the reader, whoever is watching and even reading those content, be very careful, because the ground that you're making now, that starting point that you're having for your baby, will really determine a lot of things later in life.
All right. Thank you very much, Dorcas, for sharing those beautiful insights about mothers and breastfeeding being our topic and our discussion today. It has been a very beautiful and very engaging conversation. And what would be your last message to mothers as far as breastfeeding is concerned, and especially to the first-time mothers that are facing some challenges, and how can they come to St. Mary's Mission Hospital? How can they get in touch to have all these services?
Okay. For the mothers who are, let's say, first-time mothers, breastfeeding is a journey, and it is not something that someone can assure you that it will be smooth. It comes with a journey of baby biting you. It comes with a journey of on God breast. It comes with a journey when one day I'm having enough milk, the following day there's no milk. It comes with so many things that can drain you. But as a mother, and with a focus of loving your child, because almost all mothers say they love their children. When you have or you don't have, you will say you love your child. So just give them the best. Try to breastfeed, and as health workers, let us try and mentor and support these mothers, especially from the 3rd trimester, so that as they venture into giving birth, they are now sure and they are really prepared for the breastfeeding part of it. So remember, breastfeeding, during pregnancy, you're making the quality of your milk. During pregnancy, it is the quality of your milk. After pregnancy, we are looking at the quantity now. Unaambiwa kunywa vitu warm so that upate maziwa. Auambiwi kunywa vitu warm maziwa iwe strong. That is most of what we tell our mothers. So during breastfeeding, during pregnancy, work on the quality. Quality, eat well, sleep well, have less stress, get enough sunlight. Try to be happy, so that when you get this baby, now it is now the quantity that is coming up. Kunywa kwa wingi so that you get enough milk. And it is doable. So many mothers have done it, with disabilities, without disabilities. They breastfed their babies. And if you look at the cost that you can have for a baby who is not breastfeeding, and maybe you're now buying baby formulas, of which in some circumstances it is not by choice. There are circumstances that will force someone to go for that. Let it be a situation whereby there is no turn back. But if it is something that you can handle and maybe avoid, breastfeed your baby for 6 months exclusively. It will come with so many benefits, even later in life.
All right.
Imagine doing something now that will prevent your baby from getting type 2 diabetes. Why not? Doing something now that will prevent me as a mother from getting breast cancer or ovarian cancer. Why not? Give it a try and see it after 30 years. See how much you did for your baby to look the way they are after 30 years. Yes.
Wow, what a beautiful parting shot there. Thank you very much, Dr. Sobiri, for making time and for sharing those invaluable insights about breastfeeding and a conversation that concerns our mothers in our society, in our families. And this conversation, remember, doesn't end here, because you have first, that is today, until 7th of August. So make sure you have this conversation in your homes, and please try to enlighten, even in your churches, to ensure that you support mothers and make them feel proud about giving birth, because it's a blessing.
It is.
Yeah. So let us all continue to even create a safe environment to ensure that we don't bombard the mothers with a lot of stress, and let us support them in all the ways that we can. Thank you very much for watching. My name is Maureen Kimani, and our guest has been Dorcas Oburi from St. Mary's Mission Hospital. Have a good time, and God bless. See you next time.
Enjoy this conversation with me, Maureen Kimani, every Friday from 9 a.m. on our Health Corner show here at Capuchin TV. Your health is your wealth.